Unleash the Archers.
And this is Antihero Online.
Shit.
All right, so first things first, welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina. How has the tour been going so far, guys?
Absolutely awesome. It's been fantastic. So much fun. Like even greater than we ever expected. Awesome turnouts, great venues, and really good times with the bands that we're on tour with. So far, pretty rad.
Anybody else?
Very rad, she said. It's been hot.
It's good.
Yeah, hot is true. Yeah, very
And
hot.
steamy.
Very hot.
Lots of sweaty load-ins.
And after the tour wraps up in the U.S., you guys are going back to home, to Canada. What's it going to be like playing in front of the home crowd again?
Well, we're actually kind of doing a little bit of each. We're coming down, I guess it'd be for you guys, coming down the West Coast, and then we're dipping back up into Eastern Canada, and we haven't played there in a really long time, so we're really excited, actually, for those shows. And we're playing Montreal and Quebec as well, so that's going to be the first time in a long time for those cities, too. So I think they're going to be pretty rad shows, and then we dip under the lakes and head back home. And we played, actually, a few CD release shows last year in Western Canada, so they've heard the record. But I think everyone's excited for us to come back, but, and we always love playing out there. So, yeah, playing for hometown Canadian fans is always a good time.
What about you guys?
No, it's really going to be a homecoming because the very last show of the tour is in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So that's going to be us, just coming back, smelling the ocean. It feels like we're at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then playing a venue and with all of our, hometown friends and our families. It's going to be
party.
really awesome. Yeah.
It was kind of
Probably
cool to
not
do
gonna
it
sleep that
backwards
night.
like that instead of like having normally your kickoff or whatever, right? To the homecoming thing. Totally
Yeah.
sick.
Plus, we'll be on fire by then. Like at the start of the tour, you're pretty good, but then as things progress, you just get tighter and tighter. You're not the same band at the end of the tour as you are at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I think Vancouver's in for a story. Usually, we just do like a one-off show in Vancouver, like not part of a tour. So we're like,
Once a year.
yeah, you don't quite have the full showdown to a point, but it's gonna be really cool.
And you guys got a new addition to the band. Introduce yourself. Let me know. The big question that I got for you is, with the new record, how challenging was it for you to kind of learn the new songs?
I mean, the tabs weren't that great, thanks guys. It was difficult because the bass player had played in a weird tuning. It was tuned in fifths because he was a cello player, which provided like some boundaries for learning it. But I managed to do it justice and add a little bit of my own stuff in. But yeah, it took some time.
We think he's doing great. We're happy to have him.
Have you learned this stuff yet? That remains to be seen.
And with the release of Apex, the band pretty much kind of settled into their sound. It was pretty much you guys defining your career as a band. What was the creative process like with that album, and where did you guys want to go with that?
It was quite different than the rest of the albums that we've done, actually, because the story was written first and then we wrote around it, and we kind of allowed the story to guide us for each track and how it should feel and what we want it to be about and everything. So that really made a more cohesive record because everything was sort of emotionally written beforehand. But I mean, other than that, it was still very similar to what we've done in the past, which is kind of like everyone has a riff or an idea for something in their head, and we bring it to each other and we jam it out and we write everything together. So I think it was just the fact that it was a little bit more of a concept album that kind of made it different.
I think one of the big differences on the recording end is that we're all in like one location in Denmark for the whole thing, start to finish.
Living together in a little cottage in the
Yeah, so instead of doing like, guitars at one place, vocals at another place, drums at another place, and then like piecing the album together, this time it was like we were just in the studio for 2 weeks, live, eat, breathe, the whole thing. And I think the result was a winner.
We work well under pressure.
Yeah.
It was like, we got 2 weeks in Denmark, get it done. So.
And what was it like kind of having that bond throughout the whole recording process? Did it make it a lot easier to kind of bounce ideas off of each other instead of having to go and be like, hey, we got to call him up to re-record this, or throw our ideas into the mix as well?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of it mostly written when we got there. So it was just kind of like little things like, oh, do you think we should do this here or that there? Or, little bits that we hadn't quite decided before we came to Denmark. So, but I think even so, yeah, there was a lot of you know, even like the solos, the guitar solos were kind of written on the spot and stuff, and there was still a lot of spontaneity to it, and it was a lot of fun, and it was just like a really fun time together, basically. And it's, I mean, being in the studio is stressful, so being able to share that with everyone at the same time as well is kind of nice.
Share that stress around.
Yeah.
It was sweet. We were in like a little Denmark like cottage home with like a wood stove. So it was like very homely, and like, yeah, we came right off of a tour, and we went directly there from a tour. So
we definitely got into a routine.
Yeah, luckily we weren't sick of each other.
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of like kept building off from the tour, like you know, like the adrenaline and just like the good vibes just came right from the tour into the studio. So.
And it was a great tour. So
There's actually a sick YouTube video out there of our experience recording that record and stuff. So check that out. Search for it. It's on our channel somewhere.
On the Unleash the Archers YouTube channel, yeah.
And do you think that's one of the things that makes this record so special? Is that bond that you guys had and the time that you spent together recording?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we were all just kind of ready to write this record. I mean, the other albums were written when we were pretty young, and this was the first album where this particular writing, I don't know what it's called, a quartet, I suppose, of writers, did it all together, and we were all kind of heading in this direction together at the same time, and it just kind of happened. Yeah, I don't think we didn't like set out to write the greatest record of our lives or anything. Like, you never do that. Like, so it was just, yeah. I don't know, we were all in the same place, the same headspace, that we wanted to be and going in the same direction, so it just kind of worked.
And then the last thing that I got for you guys is kind of looking forward to the next album. Where are you guys wanting to go musically with that, and what have you learned from previous experiences recording that you're going to incorporate into the new music?
Well, I think we don't want to write the same record again, so we're taking a break after this tour, and we're going to just kind of see where it takes us. We might go, who knows, might get some synth in there, might do a little bit more of a symphonic thing. I don't really know right now. The story behind
spacier.
it, yeah, spacier. The story behind it is all ready to go. It's just a matter of how we feel musically in a few months from now. Yeah.
That's perfect. And that's pretty much everything that I got for you guys. Is there anything I didn't touch on that you guys would like to add?
No, just check us out on social media and watch for the rest of the tour dates. We're still on the road for like another 3 weeks, so it's a long one. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And we just appreciate your guys' support. You know, the fans on this tour has just been mind-blowing.
Yeah, the VIP meet and greets have been absolutely unbelievable, so we're really excited. And hopefully they keep up.
Unleash the Archers!
And this is Antihero. You guys
We're Unleash the Archers. This is Antihero Online.
We're
Unleash the Archers!
And this is Antihero Online. Who said anti-hero?
Yeah, I screwed up.